Hey Heikg, or Heikg, Heikg, doing a video response today to kind of answer your question. I haven't done a video for YouTube in forever. But you're talking about what you received as far as messing around with the voltmeter. I think you said right around 0.06 volts or so. It's about right. 0.02. So anyway, I have a voltmeter. Hopefully this will show up on my crappy little camera here. Alright, so getting into the nitty gritty. I have a little AA battery. These put out typically 1.5 volts. So I'm going to go ahead, make sure that you're set on DC. And when you're doing this for yourself as well, you want to be on DC, because we are a direct current. So DC, 20 volts, and there it goes, 1.56. This battery reads a little bit low, but it's alright. We know where our voltmeter is working, and it's accurate. I'm going to go ahead and set this down to millivolts, because humans produce a lot of resistance. Energy does not flow through us very well, and we have, skin and blood and organs and microelectrical pulses running through every nerve fiber, so all that stuff creates interference. And your heartbeat, sweat. Make sure your hands are dry. Make sure you clean your contacts, because if you do this for yourself, you're going to sweat on them, and you're going to build up salt, and your readings are going to be off. It's either going to interfere with the readings, or it's going to give you a stupidly high reading that isn't really you. So, now that we're down at millivolts, battery should be, right now, 1500. So to put in perspective, we're only going to be producing, there we go, like a 9,000th of a volt. I can produce a 1/10 of a volt. So, and if it goes in reverse, if it goes negative, it doesn't mean your numbers are off, that just means your flow is in your left hand. I usually put the positive in my right. Because of nature, heartbeats and everything, your flow is going to be wherever it's going to be, unless you control it. So, I'm putting everything in my right hand right now. There we go, 1/10 of a volt. Oh, I lost it. 1/10 of a volt, a little over. My highest is like 120, 130-ish, in that range. My highest stable reading. Now that I'm talking and I'm not controlling the flow, I'm just kind of bouncing everywhere. You also want to make sure you're not grounding out. So, like, if you, I'm on my bed right now. If I put my hands on my bed, sometimes I'll ground out. I'll get I go straight to 0. If you rest your hands on your knees, it's a habit, but you can ground yourself that way and kind of screw up your reading. So I want to be aware of all that stuff. Again, if you're going into a negative direction and it concerns you, focus onto your right hand, or the hand that's holding the positive terminal. And kind of like doing the awareness exercise where you move energy from one point to another wherever your mind is. You want to move the energy from your left hand into the right hand and just make your right hand your positive terminal. Energy flows, electricity flows in the direction of a high yield to low. So you want to make sure that you're the hand that's holding on the positive needle is the one that you're charging. What I do is I breathe in through the nose, and I do the goosebump thing, but I do just before the goosebump thing actually happens, and I kind of get like this pressure wave, and that's how I pull in, and I push that through my dantian, and then into the hand. And from the dantian, I create a bridge in my mind to either my fingertip or my palm, and that's where the energy flows. Remember, it all flows in the direction of thought, so if you're focused on what the numbers are reading, if you're too focused on the actual numbers, you're going to hit zero, because your energy is flowing to something that's arbitrary and it's not actually doing what you think it's doing. If you're doing a video like I am and you're talking instead of focusing, you're going to have numbers like this. And the only reason why I'm this high right now while I'm talking is I took a minute to meditate to get a little bit of energy before I came on here. So my body is still charged, but it's going down, as you can see. And then, so yeah, I create that pressure, kind of like bone breathing when you pull energy into your bones, but I do it directly into the skin. Pull it into my meridians, go into my core, and then from my core, I do my cycles, my micro-macro orbits, and as I'm pulling in, I create a bridge in my mind from my lower dantian just below the navel to either my fingertip or my palm, and I do a push. So I'll pull in like you would, and then when you breathe in, you're going to expand your abdomen, and then when you breathe out, you're going to push your abdomen all the way in, kind of like you're trying to touch your belly button to your spine. But with that push, you're pushing all the energy down the track through the perineum, up the spine, and then back around down through your sternum, where you're going to go up to all the chakras, the one in your back, up through your neck, crown, third eye, and you go down to your throat, your sternum, and then back into your dantian. But as you're doing that, you're gonna have that cycle going. But as you push out from your dantian, you're gonna push and have your mind go into your fingertip, because you're gonna create a bridge, basically between your dantian to your finger. But then, as far as the circuits are concerned, you're creating a circuit between your left hand and your right hand. So you want the energy to flow to here, and because electricity is going to do what electricity does, it's going to go through this needle. This thing's going to go into this device, and you're going to get kind of a reading here. So that's what this does. So right now my hands are actually sweating, and that's going to mess up things, so I'm going to drop these. I'm going to dry my hands off. Clean my contacts. Alright, let's see what I can just do, flying around a little bit. And your signal is going to bounce around. If you put too much pressure on your needle, you're going to get messed up results, because you're basically going to be restricting the flow of energy. If you're feeling pain when you're pushing on these things, you're pushing too hard. If your fingers are going numb, you're pushing too hard. You're kind of restricting blood flow, you're restricting the flow of energy. So you don't want to be like jamming these things through. You just want to be enough pressure that you have a solid contact, but you're not going to be like obstructing anything. And it's normal for it to drop in between breaths. And a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this too, break their cycles in between breaths. it's a good practice to try to keep your cycle going mentally in between breaths. That way you're not confined to having to breathe to get your energy to flow. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm back to square one as far as getting my cycles to function the way they should. There I go talking again. So anyway, once I get to a value that I like from the right hand, I will deliberately go and put it into the left hand and walk it back down to 0, then walk it back up to minus 100, and then walk it back down to 0, walk it back up to positive 100. And that's how I work my cycles. You guys are welcome to practice any way you want. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or whatever, you can always shoot me an email, reply to the video. Thank you.